Hey everyone, Livy here, back with another video, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Mindscapes Tarot. This is a deck by John A. Rice, and I have been very excited about this one because if you don't know, this deck at one point in time, at least in a majors only space, was indie at one point. So the creator first made the major arcana cards. I think there was even a whole Kickstarter at one point, all this stuff. But now this deck has gone out mass market and it is a full 78 card deck. So this is very exciting. This has actually been one of my most anticipated decks basically of the year. I've been very excited about this one, so I'm excited to get into it with you guys. This is a Hay House production, by the way. So basically it goes for $26.99 US or $35.99 Canadian monies. And if you don't know, it says it here basically, but Mindscapes Tarot reimagines the tarot in the style of classic landscape paintings, hand-drawn in oil pastel. So each card opens up a portal to a magical realm of forests, seas, mountains, and ancient cities where the landscape changes as the seasons and years pass. So it's a very, very interesting deck. I am super excited to get into this. First thing to note, for those who like texture and all that stuff, this box is actually really interesting. I don't remember if all of Hay House boxes are like this, but it's actually got a soft touch matter, like rose petal-y finish to it. And the box opens up like this. As you can see, I did take out the plastic because I didn't want you guys to see me struggling on camera. So I haven't really looked at the cards. It's literally all I did was I took off the plastic, and then I also took off, so the cards underneath, like the here, it had a thing around it, like one of those paper things, but I took that out because, again, I didn't want you guys to see me struggle. But this box has a cool little detail. See this? In the bottom here, it says, prepare to embark, and it's very beautiful little illustration. So I just wanted to point that out. It has a very chunky guidebook, which is good for beginners. What I'm curious about is, I know the suits are renamed. So where does it say about the minor or major arcana? Oh, wait, no. Imagery symbols, maybe? 8? Let me see. I know the suits are... it's not really saying. Oh, but there's a bit about color theory. So I guess this deck uses color theory a lot. So it talks about that. Here it looks like red, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, gray, black, white. Interesting. But what I want to note, oh, and there's also sigil use, which I think would be interesting to study, but it has the astrological ruler of each card, a signature, and then the shorthand sigil for each card, which is interesting. I don't know. I don't know a lot about that. But what I really want to look at, is how the minors were set up. And it looks like the suits are renamed. So instead of wands, you're going to see branches with this deck. It looks like tides are cups. Spires are swords. So no actual swords. That'll be interesting too. And then stones are pentacles. Okay, so we're going to get into it then. Oh, they do have spreads, it looks like. Let's see how many. There's a clarity spread. A window pane spread. Ooh, I might like that. Window pane spread. Okay, it's 2 spreads. So that's good. There's 2 spreads. It gives you reasons for why it does what it does. Then the guidebook gets into the majors. And it looks like, let's see if this is true. It looks like every card is going to have the title, obviously. Keywords, planet sign, element, symbols. And then a little write-up about it as well as an action, which looks like prompts, kind of. See that? Prompts. Interesting. And it looks like, it does that for every card. No images of the cards in this, though. That's okay. I don't really care. It doesn't have to have that. Oh, that's right. This deck does have... I think there's some extras. So it looks like there's going to be a catacomb card and the great work. Yeah, that's it. But the minors, are the minors the exact same way? That's what I want to know. Yes, so the minors are the exact same. So you still get the same amount of write-up and same amount of treatment. That's really good. That's what I wanted to know. Really interesting. This is going to be a very thick guidebook to go through, but I like that. And also same soft touch lamination, by the way. Yeah. Well, let's get into the cards. First off, I love these backs. They are so cool. It's also very interesting that the artist uses oil pastel to do all this. And the bottom of this box is beautiful. Wow. What in the world? That's really beautiful. Okay. Enough of the box, though. Let's get into the cardstock. Okay, this cardstock feels the exact same as, I don't know if it's all Hay House cards, but this feels the exact same as the Cosmic Crossroads Oracle that I got recently. So pretty much the same cardstock. It's a matte, as you can see, but it has a nice feel to me. But I know not everybody likes Hay House cardstock. It is a little like thicker kind of and rough on the edges, but the feel of it as a matte is fine to me. I don't know how other people feel about the cardstock. We all have our preferences, right? But yeah, I'm okay with Hay House cardstock, but as you can see, it is a little on the thicker side. My finger barely gets around it, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be impossible to use. It's just a little bit bigger and no edging, which is, I don't think Hay House, do they really do edges? I don't think so, right? I don't know. But yeah, these are the backs and they're really, really cool. But I'm interested to get into these cards here. So let's kind of get right into it. I was debating if I wanted to zoom, but maybe I won't. So we're just going to be right here. This is the Fool, and I love that it is a giant ship of exploration. I think that is the coolest thing. And then I guess there's a sigil and stuff. Really, really interesting. But yeah, that's the Fool. The Magician. Wow. I'm surprised. Like, the detail he gets out of using oil pastel is crazy, because I feel like when I used to have to use them for school, oil pastels used to be very finicky, but this is like really good detail. But yeah, this is the Magician. Really beautiful. Oh, and this High Priestess. This is like the perfect High Priestess. This is pretty much what it feels like. The magic and mystery and whimsy. I really, really like that. The Empress. Wow. The Emperor. This also feels pretty legit. It's so crazy how he's got like all these landscapes and they just kind of fit for each card so well. This is the Hierophant. Very cool. The Lovers. I am obsessed. I love the bougainvilleas in there. So beautiful. And this Chariot. Very cool. Strength. This Hermit. Wow. Again, so beautiful. Like, the level of detail is very stunning. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and it is a spider web and the spider. Oh, Justice. This is so good and so accurate. My goodness. And you could even see the detail, right? There's like blood on the steps. This is very much like Julius Caesar kind of vibes. So that's crazy. That's so cool. We have the Hanged One. Wow. The Aurora and stuff. Or it looks like Aurora Borealis. Oops. There we go. Death. Interesting. This almost looks like Civil War like stuff left behind. That's kind of interesting. Temperance, very beautiful. Very like exact. That's cool. Oh, interesting. The devil as a city. Don't know exactly which city, but that's really interesting to think about. Huh. Ooh, this one's a lot more traditional. The tower. Oh, this is the image on the box. This is the star. Very beautiful. We have the moon. The sun. Oh, wow, I really like this sun. This is so beautiful. And then we have judgment. Oh, isn't this, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but this is NOLA, right? New Orleans? Yeah? It looks like it, right? With that. And then this is the cemetery that they have there. That's crazy. That's so interesting. And then the world. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then we have the extras. So we have, this is the catacomb. Very creepy. Very interesting though. I'm curious to see what the guidebook would say about this though. This one. And then, oh, this is the bottom image in the box. Okay, this is the great work. Interesting. Food for thought with these extras. Okay. Well, now we're in the branches. So this is the wands, I guess. So we have the ace of branches, very simple. Start of a season though, looks very springy. Okay, two of branches. It has changed a little bit over time. More things have grown. So I can see they've, okay, yeah. So there, it's gone, he's gone for definitely like a landscape changing over time, right? And how it grows and changes and the different processes of that, right? And this one, right? Like three of branches, so three of wands, beginning something, a new path. Like they're putting stuff there so that it can keep growing. And then at some point in time, it grew so much that now you have an orchard and you can celebrate and get like the fruits of your labor kind of thing. So it's very subtle. I feel like five of branches, even right, the conflict, burning, things had happened to it. This converge though, even though I can tell like what the changes are over time, right? Six of branches, the victory, life's begun again, right? Even though I can see it subtly, I feel like for a lot of people, the big thing that could potentially push people away from this deck is that this could scream for people as Pippi if you cannot intuitively understand what's happening here. Like even the seven of branches, right? You see having to stand against fire, taking the high ground, hoping the whole forest doesn't burn down, right? I can see these changes like subtly, but it could read as Pippi for people who don't understand. Like eight of branches, right, is like you're trying to get it to grow again after all that. And then the nine, still very barren. Surviving. This little cute deer is surviving despite the terrible landscape. But it's not fun, you know. And then finally, it was all worth it because it was able to grow again. So it's like, I guess for this deck, what I'm getting from this deck is that you do have to read it kind of, it almost does have an intuitive feel to it. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody else in the community really gravitates towards this deck, because you'd have to understand the story at play. Otherwise, it's going to feel kind of flat. Ooh, excuse me for 1 second. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I don't know what was happening. I started having like a weird ass coughing fit. Anyways, we're back here with the Page of Branches, which I'm getting the view of. It looks like a treehouse, right? Like this is the treehouse part or something, or a barn maybe, and you're going down into everything, which is kind of an interesting take on the page. We have the Knight of Branches, campfire scenes, the Queen of Branches, which is an interesting like garden space. And you even see the nods of like a sunflower still in there. So that's really cute. And then the King of Branches, which is the mill that keeps everything still running. Very interesting take on the king, but I like the scene. It's very beautiful. Okay, we are now in, which looks like the Tides. And sorry, I might take a sip of water just to make sure I don't start coughing again. That was crazy. Okay, we're in the Tides now, which are the cups. We have the Ace of Tides, very beautiful sunrise, dawn kind of feel. Captures the feeling very well. And then we have the Two of Tides when the sun sets and everything is beautiful. And the two birds are like the two cups, right? And they're flying together. And everything is great and beautiful. The 3 dolphin friends for the Three of Tides. 4 Tides, beautiful sky, but yeah, you might be a little pensive, moody. 5 of Tides being a storm, makes sense, a lot of emotions, shipwreck. 6 of Tides, maybe nostalgia, going out with others on a boat. You can see them a little bit here. 7 of Tides, kind of like a dark night. You don't know what's coming for you. You don't know what lies ahead, what the journey will bring, that kind of thing. I do usually like seeing the choices for the 7, but in this case, for this type of deck, obviously it's showing something very specific. So it's interesting though. You still get the sense of anxiety in this card. 8 of Tides, we have a literal storm happening. The turmoil, trying to get out, trying to leave. 9 of Tides, things are a lot better, smoother. You've made it. And the 10, so this was the other, it was this portion of the box, right? The 10 of Tides, that's very beautiful. All happy-go-lucky, everything is good on the ocean now. Happy ever after kind of thing. Ooh, and then we have the Page of Tides. Beautiful. The Knight of Tides. The Queen of Tides being a lighthouse light. That's really cool. Ooh, I kind of like this a lot. Ooh, and then the King of Tides. Wow. Very, very, very beautiful. I mean, this whole deck, but you know. Okay. We are now in Spires, which I believe is the sword. So this is going to be interesting to see how these are done, in my opinion. But we have the Ace of Spires, so the sunlight coming over the mountain. The 2 of Spires. Okay, I can see it. There is a crossroads here, like which path do you take around the mountain kind of thing. The 3, interestingly, it's like a broken bridge, so you can't really get across. You're kind of stuck for a little bit. Not the greatest of feelings. It also looks, I don't know if these lines, they almost look like it's raining too at the same time. So it's like, not only are you stuck, but it's also raining a little bit, and that also sucks. Interesting. Now, Forest Spires. This is one where the mountains are very interesting. Like, it's drawn beautifully. But do I get a sense of rest here? I'm not 100% sure. Like, is this like the spot they stopped to rest? I don't know. This doesn't give as much for me. Five of Spires. Interesting. There's a little like house on, or castle on the hill and the mountain pass, and it's like kind of cold and stuff. But I don't know if that shows really like not anybody being able to win here. Six of Spires, trying to leave things behind, going on a bridge maybe, traveling to the new place. I don't know. Seven of Spires. It's kind of moody again. But I don't know if I 100%... See, I think the spires, out of all this so far, I think I'm understanding them the least, is my feeling here. Like, I'm trying to see, like, what aspect here has to do anything with trickery or having to move along your way and try your best. I don't know. I'm not sure here. And the same could be said for the Eight of Spires. Maybe it's definitely a cold, barren landscape feel, but I don't even know if it shows like the whole idea that you're trapped and kind of disoriented vibes. I don't know. With the 9, I definitely see some anxiety, like despair. This looks like it's a volcano or something that is erupting, and the sky is very dark, and you just don't know what you're getting here. This at least gives the vibes, but some of these other cards I've not gotten the sense of. And the same with the 10 here. Well, no, the 10, you definitely get despair, like everything's gray paleted. You do get a sense that it's like the bottom of the bottom and things are just not great. I don't know though, again, like the 7 and the 8 definitely didn't feel as successful cards. This makes sense though with the color palette. So Spire so far are the least hitting for me, I think. But we have the Page of Spires, Knight of Spires, Queen of Spires, very interesting, a bird nest. Ooh, and then the King of Spires, getting ready for war kind of feeling. That's really interesting. And so finally, we are on the last suit. We have the Ace of Stones. So these are our pentacles. Two of Stones. I guess you see a little bit of a juggle here, balance with the hammock and stuff. Interesting. Oh, okay, Three of Swords. Planning together to make this like tower here. Interesting. Oh, it's like a city growing over time. So the Four of Stones is like they've made a wall now to keep this part of town away from like the richies on the hill kind of thing. Very beautiful. But yeah, you get that sense of being kind of like kept away from the good parts. The Five of Stones, yeah, it almost seems like this scene, it's interesting because it seems more abandoned now. Ooh, 6 of stones. People having to be generous to give their time and effort to rebuild, maybe. Something maybe happened to this little town. Now I'll have to work together. Interesting take on the 6. We have the 7 of Pentacles. I mean, of stones. This makes sense. I get the vibes that it's like the patience of having to build, because you can see it's like many of the buildings are in construction right now to make their city bigger, stronger, and all that. So it just takes a while. It takes a village. Oh, and then the 8 of stones. You see a lot more artisan work being built, like trying to perfect your craft to make things more beautiful and traversable. Then we have the 9. You put a lot of great work in and it's starting to look beautiful. Wow, even trees and stuff are starting to bloom. That's really cool. But this is crazy. The 10 of stones, your legacy, and it's that same city that from ancient times in ruin. And now there's like a car there and people have found something of it. That's interesting. Wow. Wow. That gives me a lot to think about, but that's so beautiful. Then we have the Page of Stones, a student trying to learn how to build and grow and make the city be. We have the Knight of Stones, the hard worker on the farm. The Queen of Stones, very opulent, this queen, but she's got a lot of nature and possessions and things like that. She's really set her house in order. And then the King, who gets to look over everything. Wow. Very beautiful. I did like the stones a lot. I think out of the whole deck, I think my thought so far, out of the whole deck, the spires to me were the least successful. But I think overall this deck is very beautiful. And I could get what most of it was trying to do. Now let's see how well this is shuffling. It is a little hard for me. I don't know if it's just, again, like maybe the thickness of the cardstock and stuff like that. It is Hay House. I know some people have gripes with Hay House cardstock. It's the typical thing. It's got like an interesting texture to it, a matte. It kind of clumps a little bit when I'm trying to shuffle it here, if I'm being completely honest. But what I think I'm going to do, which is a little different, I want to do something different because typically I'm not sure yet what decks I want to pair this with. At the time of me filming this deck arrived literally on my birthday, which felt like a birthday present, and I got it the next day. So I haven't really had, or I'm filming this the next day, I should say. So I don't really know yet what I want to pair this with. So I think I'm going to do something different in that to show off this deck and also so I can understand the vibes of this deck. I'm going to do, what am I trying to say here? Oh, I'm going to do a tarot interview of it. Yeah, so let's try that out and see how it goes. I'll try to speed up as much as I can the process of how I do cards, but basically I just knock on the deck. I pick it up, I hold it to my chest. That's why you guys don't see it. I basically focus my intention, which in this case is me trying to get to know this deck. So kind of one thing I usually say near the end is like, please, please, please let me know how will our relationship grow. So something like simple. And you already saw me shuffling a little bit, but I always do like, like a little bit more of this just to loosen it up. And then I have a crazy pattern, which I have to do this every time. This might be boring to all of you guys, but I do my pattern to help center me. It helps me get in the zone, calm down, think about it. And then I have another row at the bottom, which is what you guys are hearing. I will probably speed this up a little bit. Like, I won't be talking, but I'll just have this and then we'll get to the rest of it. So let me just do that so then we can keep going. Interesting. Okay. Cards, initially, I will say, do kind of stick together a lot, which is not 100% great. But again, it's not the worst cardstock I've ever encountered, if you can imagine. It's not my favorite, but it's not like the worst. It's not usually as bad, in my opinion, as Llewellyn, but that's a whole other thing. Whatever. I'm not getting into that right now. We're about to interview this deck and see how it does. I'm very curious to see. Okay. So then, what I normally do is I will divide this deck in 3, and then I'm checking the pile that feels the warmest, because the pile that feels the warmest is the one I think that is trying to talk to me. Feels like it might be that one. It's very slight, but I think it is this one. Okay. Let's see, guys. What does this deck want to tell me? We have 1, 2, and 3. And we have 4, 5, 6. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to switch, not switch, but let me try to get this better in frame here so you guys can see what the hell's going on. You might not be able to see all of this, but we've got some really, really interesting bits. And just so you guys know what spread I'm doing. Oh my God, I just had it. Oh, here we go. I use this spread. I forget what website. There's a website this comes from. But my tarot deck interview basically is this one. I pulled this from a site. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And basically these are the card positions. So in space number 1, for those who are curious, it says, tell me about yourself. What is your most important characteristic? And in this case, we have the 3 of branches, which is equal to the 3 of wands. So I would say that the most important thing about this deck is that it wants to get me started on that journey of building, creating, doing the thing. And I'm already a little bit along in that process, but it basically wants to help me get the rest of the way there. That's the way I'm going to interpret that. So that's a pretty good quality, right? It's like the deck is very interested in that process. And getting me going. So that's good. I don't see any, well, that I'll have to check. But other than that, well, actually this is kind of, but we'll see. Anyways, we're not going to get too much into this. In position number 2 here, it says, what are your strengths as a deck? And interestingly, I have the Page of Stones. So I would say that this deck's strength is that it is really good at getting me in that process of like growth, in that mindset of learning, exploring, taking things in, trying to build up craft in that way. I see a lot of that usually with the Page of Pentacles, Page of Stones, same kind of business. So This deck's strength is that it will keep me on that track, basically, of growth and, you know, taking in as much as I can, not thinking too negatively, trying my best, that kind of thing. So that's a really good strength to have. But the limits of this deck, what are your limits? We have the Four of Spires here. So, you know, Four of Swords. And I would say then the deck's limits is that it's not really interested in letting me get any rest or downtime or mental break. So this is not really a deck that's going to help me unwind, is the way I see this. Sometimes this position in this tarot deck interview is a little tricky to determine the limits. It's very easy, of course, if this deck had been in reverse, right? But because the card's not in reverse and because the position of the spread, it's already negative as is, you kind of do have to take on the more shadowy aspects of whatever the card is. So in this case, yeah, I would say this deck is not really interested in helping me find a little bit of peace and calm in all these things. So that's interesting. I don't know then how, like, when I would turn to this deck or for what exactly, but that's interesting. For position number 4 down here, we have the Ace of Tides, and it is saying, what are you here to teach me? And Ace of Tides being, you know, Ace of Cups, I would say this is probably telling me that it wants me to learn how to be invested in the new experiences, the new dawn, right? A new day, new dawning is a new day. And not to wallow in the fact that, like, sometimes, you know, sometimes I get these moments inside of myself where I'm like, well, I don't know if the sun will ever rise. Well, of course the sun rises again. You know what I mean? So it is here to teach me that lesson of, like, how can I grow and fall in love with the world around me and be at peace and enjoy all these things, you know. That's the way I'm going to take this. But for 5, this is interesting. It says, how can I best learn and collaborate with you? And it is the great work. Now, this is one of the extra cards. Interestingly, I believe that's in Leo, because I am also a Leo, so I recognize that symbol. That's very interesting. I wonder what this is getting at. I guess this is the time to actually whip out the guidebook, guys, because this is one of those extras, so I have no idea what it's trying to get at. Let's see what it says about this card. So you have the great work. Its keyword is about humor, gratitude, lightheartedness, appreciation, attention, spontaneity, purpose. Oh my God, it has so many keywords. It is 9th node or north node, water. Oh, so maybe that's a node symbol? I have no idea. Symbols, galaxy, stars, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what does it say here, though? In the shadow of a mountain range glows a small town, its light mimicking the cosmic dance in the sky above. You are part of that dance, a single thread in a tapestry that no one can see, but your role is of the utmost importance. The awe-inspiring firmament could not exist without the joyful twinkling of each individual star and the harmony of its constellations. The great work is a construction of the universe, but also of our communities and relationships. Take a moment to unplug and appreciate the beautiful chaos all around you. Things will never be exactly this way again. You will never be this way again, but you are a part of the great work, and and ever growing together in beauty and grace. So it's action. Oh, okay. So this is something you can do. This is, again, like a prompt. Obviously, I'm not going to really apply that to this reading, but you guys can read what it says here, which is basically you create a funny and imaginative artwork that captures the silliness of life in the universe. Use any art supplies you like, and then let your creativity flow. So that's so interesting, the little prompts. But I'm going to take this as, so how can I best learn and collaborate with this deck? Well, it's appreciating that life is fleeting and that everything happens as it happens, but one day it will not be like that, so enjoy it while you can. I guess that's the best way to collaborate, is just go with the flow. really interesting card. I didn't expect to get that, but that's cool that I guess that popped up. And then finally here, this I don't know how to feel about this. In position number 6 here, we have what is the potential outcome of our working relationship? And it is the Tower. This is not always something I feel like people want as an outcome of working with a deck, because obviously this is about like destruction, change, having to move on, closing a chapter. Maybe it can be an epiphany at its least lethal point, but this could also be complete chaos. So interesting. I don't know, again, how I 100% feel about that, but this was a really interesting read with this deck. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched all the way to this point, saw my process, saw kind of how I was reading these cards. And yeah, I think I will see you guys all again next time. Bye.